legendary Polish power. Now, Jan Blachowicz, this is a really tough fight for him. It's stylistically, let me know in the comments, you think it's speed versus power here? Because if you think about Israel Adesanya, the way that he fights, his sniper precision, right? He has a lot of footwork. He has a lot of flexibility. He has a lot of athleticism that, Jan Blachowicz, if you watch his fights, specifically like Thiago Santos, he lost that fight. The first Corey Anderson fight. It's interesting. It's a very interesting matchup because you also have to factor in that Israel Adesanya really doesn't have a lot to lose. Yeah, then he will be defeated, right? Because right now he's undefeated. So he's going to take his first loss, right, in the UFC. But if Jan Blachowicz loses, he loses his belt. He loses a lot of momentum. Because if you think about it, Jan Blachowicz doesn't really dabble in, like, the beef as much as Israel does. Like, he starts stuff. Israel starts stuff. He has, prospects. He has things with John Jones in the works. Like, even if Israel doesn't win, he's probably gonna, he has a lot of fights to look forward to. He still retains his belt. John Jones and him, they're gonna meet one way or the other in the octagon. I think so. It just makes sense business-wise, right? Now, if Jan Blachowicz wins this fight, that's great because he's gonna fight John Jones eventually. That's gonna be a great fight to watch, and I think it's gonna be a little more fair because Jan Blachowicz is huge. He's so much bigger than Israel Adesanya, so he really has that edge there. And if he clips him with one of these power shots and Israel falls, that's going to be really not good. I think the fight will end right there because he's so powerful. So obviously if Israel just gets in and out of these rounds, kind of, not really getting hit, a lot of footwork, a lot of head movement, and wins via decision, because he taps him more, basically patty cake. But I don't think Jan Blachowicz is going to lose. If he does lose, it's not going to be any other way than like decision is what I mean. Like if he loses, it's going to be via decision. He's not going to lose via TKO. He's not going to lose via knockout. I don't see Israel doing that. I don't see Israel submitting him. I mean, I don't know. I just don't see that happening. At first, I thought Israel was going to win this fight, although it's not necessarily a lock, But Israel, he does have a lot of challenges with Jan Blachowicz, just his power, right? But then you see like the Yoel Romero fight, which was horrible, right? Is he going to do that? Is he going to really just not engage and just make for such a boring fight to just technically win and take it to the judges? Is that what he's going to do for the fans? I mean, that would suck, right? And also, Jan Blachowicz has to play that game too, Because if you think about the fight, Yoel Romero versus Israel Adesanya, they both dabbled in the nonsense of just not engaging, right? So if Israel decides, okay, I'm not going to engage with you, I'm going to kind of like run away from you, Jan Blachowicz isn't going to stand for that. He doesn't seem like he's going to stand for that. He wants to just, finish him, connect with these power shots, with these, these kicks. I mean, his kicks are so intensely powerful. And then we have John Jones kind of like in the background too, and just kind of like awaiting his next opponent, awaiting his fate. So it's like it's one of my most favorite fights for this year. I think it's such a great matchup. A little bit far away. It's in March, but we'll see it. March will come really quickly. But yeah, let me know in the comments who you think is going to win this fight and why, because I'm trying to figure out who wins this fight. Because like I said, if it goes a distance, probably Israel's going to win the fight, He's going to play that game and be really strategic like he always is and, play the game right. And then if Jan Blachowicz connects, then it's going to be night for Israel, and that's going to be devastating. That's going to be his first loss. So let me know in the comments what you think. Thanks.